So in today's video, I want to talk about how trees in religion and myth are actually stylized depictions of the body's nervous system, specifically in Norse mythology, Christianity, and Hinduism. Now, I'm going to start off with Christianity because it's probably the what most people are predisposed to. Now, there is the tree of knowledge of good and evil and the tree of life, both of which are said to exist within the Garden of Eden. And the fall of man was eating the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And this was caused by Eve. Now, this is all symbolic, and I want you to think of all of this as like, those little Russian nesting dolls where, they're small and then they get bigger and bigger. Think of applying that to all of reality, all of creation and religion. Now, the tree of knowledge of good and evil and eternal life is actually us. It's our body's nervous system, with Eve being the feminine and Adam being the masculine, so yin and yang. Adam is the conscious and Eve is the subconscious. Now, the trunk of the tree is our spinal cord. It's our body's autonomic nervous system. And the trunk of the tree is our spine. And the snake that was said to tempt Eve is our own subconscious, where we store our trauma. It's in our body. It's why that little dot, the yang within the yin and the yin and yang, that is a piece of knowledge. It's bringing the subconscious into conscious awareness. And these trees were said to exist in the center of the Garden of Eden. Well, it's not just a physical place, it's a state of mind. And we are always the center of our own perception of general reality. Now, in Norse mythology, the entire worlds, the group of 9 worlds, I think, was said to be held together on a giant ash tree or birch tree, it depends. And the makeup of this tree was the realm of man was right in the middle, and then it was connected to the realm of the gods, or a higher realm, through the Bifrost, the Rainbow Bridge. Now, the Rainbow Bridge is our chakra system. Each chakra is corresponding to a certain aspect of our own emotional body, our own stored trauma in our nervous system. And as we regulate this, we can access higher realms or higher forms of thought. And below the realm of man are the roots of the tree. And this is where the tree got its source of life, was from the springs or wells of knowledge. And there was a serpent that was said to be the enemy of the tree and wanted nothing more than to gnaw on the roots. And you can think of this as a stand-in for the devil, or another representation of the devil. Again, going back to the Russian nesting doll, just another expression of this. An example of this would be you have some sort of trauma that has happened to you, and because of that, someone says something and you react in an automatic way. And there's a little voice in your head that might say, oh, I'm not good enough, or oh, I can't do that. That's an example of the trauma that's been stored inside your body. Now, there's also, at the top of the tree, a golden eagle. this represents higher knowledge, higher consciousness. And it is the enemy opposed to Nidhogg, and there is a funny little squirrel that runs up and down the tree, exchanging insults between this eagle and Nidhogg, and these two beings will never actually meet until the time of Ragnarok, or when a cycle will repeat again and again. Now, relating this to actual, more so like science and biology, there are what are known as afferent and efferent nerve signals within the human body. Now, afferent means it's going from the body to the central nervous system. So the brain and your spinal cord, the trunk of the tree. This is what's responsible for things like touch, pain, and you sensing the position of your body. Now, with something like touching a hot stove and you jerk your hand back, that doesn't actually even go to your brain. It goes to your spinal cord, and it's not actually processed through conscious thought. It's a reflex. It creates a reflex loop. This is an example of like subconscious automatic responses. And then there's efferent nerve signals, which is from your central nervous system to everything else. This is what's responsible for your autonomic or automatic nervous system. So like saliva and, like I said before, like touching hot surfaces and stuff. Now, to actually regulate and reach homeostasis or balance, the way this happens is that it goes from an afferent nerve signal, so from the body to your central nervous system, and then the efferent nerve signal from the central nervous system to everything else is responsible for how your body reacts. So like increased heart rate or a flushing of cheeks or blood pressure. When you go into prayer or meditation, when you go to that eagle, that higher consciousness, so God, you are able to regulate your nervous system and achieve a state of balance. Now, going back to Yggdrasil for a second, so obviously if a tree is a representation of a nervous system, then what is this tree Yggdrasil representing? It is representing another like larger nesting doll, Vishnu, because the realm of man was said to reside in Vishnu's midsection. You can't see it, but I'm touching my guts. And this was the interpretation in Hindu mysticism, where Vishnu is one of the highest dimensional, like I guess, coalition, whatever, form of consciousness. He's not source, but he's very, very high. And as you go down Vishnu's body, those are the realms of like hell, the subconscious, the bad, and ultimately there are snakes right near his feet and stuff. And as you go up higher and higher, you ascend and reach higher states of consciousness. So I hope you guys found this interesting, and it's kind of my first big video I've posted in a while. So thanks, leave a like or a comment if you liked it, and I'll maybe remember to post my Patreon if I can remember to do that. Thanks.